In this episode, we're going to be talking about headaches, the most common cause of headaches, and what you can do to fix them. We're going to talk about how to help your kids start to eat healthier, and then we're going to talk about sex. Is that all right? We're going to talk about sex? We're going to talk about sex. Okay, this question comes from Melissa, and she asks, why do I get so many headaches and what can I do to fix them? Melissa, that's a great question, and I'm going to tell you that headaches is a big one. Almost everybody that I know or that I meet has had at least one headache. And in fact, I'm starting to see children come into my office because they're complaining about headaches. So it's pretty bad when even our kids are starting to experience headaches. Now, the reality is that there are many reasons why we have headaches, but I'm going to tell you that the biggest thing that I see happening when it comes to headaches is the fact that we are so quick to self-medicate. In other words, as soon as we start to get a headache, we go and take that Tylenol pill or that Advil to try to get rid of it. And what that does is that, yeah, it'll cover it up and you might feel better, but you never actually figure out what's causing the problem. So what I like to tell people when they come in and they say, yeah, I take Tylenol and it helps with my headaches, I say, well, does the headache come back? And they'll say, yes, of course. Okay, then it didn't work. Because obviously, your body's just not running deficient from Tylenol. So really what I want you to do is we need to troubleshoot and figure out what exactly is happening. Now, there are dozens of reasons why you can get headaches. Nutritional deficiencies, nutritional toxicities, you could have hormone imbalances, circulation problems. You could even have food intolerances that are causing your headaches. Another big one is structural problems. So bad posture, looking at phones, desk bound, right? We're just working too many hours at a desk. All these things can be contributing to your headaches. In my experience, the three most common causes of headaches, at least that I come across into my office, number one is going to be dehydration. And I'm telling you this, most people, as a physician, most people come into my office complaining of back pain. Second to the common cold. And the most common reason I'm going to say that they're experiencing back pain is because of dehydration. In fact, in our office, we test to see what your hydration levels are, and almost everybody is dehydrated. So what do you need to do to start fixing this problem? I need you to start drinking half your body weight in ounces. In other words, if you weigh 100 pounds, you divide that by 2, that's 50 ounces. You're gonna drink 50 ounces of water every single day. You do that for 3 months and let's see if your headaches go away. If you're somebody who weighs 200 pounds, again, you divide it by 2, that's 100. That's how many ounces you should be drinking every day. Again, I believe the number one cause of headaches is dehydration. The second reason why we're experiencing headaches today is because of structural abnormalities, muscle tension, or poor posture. It's no coincidence today that we spend a lot of time in this flexed forward head position. We're looking down at our cell phones. Our muscles are getting all knotty and tight. Almost everybody complains about tightness in your shoulders, and you can go up to anybody, give them the Spock chokehold, right? You just grab on their muscles and they're really tender and tight. That's because our muscles are just so tense and stressed from the daily life that we now experience. We were not designed to be sitting in front of desks. We were not designed to be sitting in front of computers or on our cell phones all day long. We were designed to be out running around, hunting animals, chasing deer, climbing rocks, climbing trees. Those are the things that we should be doing every day. And I'm willing to bet that if you start doing that every day, you're not gonna have as many headaches. So if you just get around and move more, start stretching more, that's a big one. The third reason why we have headaches is because of nutritional deficiencies. And on top of the list there is gonna be magnesium. So what I'd like you to start doing is taking 600 milligrams of magnesium, chelated magnesium, because there's a difference in different type of magnesiums. So you wanna make sure it's chelated magnesium. Do that for the next 3 months, correct your posture, drink water. Let's see what happens to your headaches. This next question comes from Sam, and Sam asks, what can I do to start helping my children eat healthier? Sam, this is a very difficult question to answer. One, because in my experience, or at least personally in our own lives, I've raised my children to be eating healthy from day one. Right? So most of the parents that I consult with and I take care of, that usually isn't the case. And so here's part of the problem. Your kids should be eating what you eat. In our family, our kids eat the same foods that we eat. And from day one, that's been the case. So grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, hormone-free chicken, fish, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, healthy fats like avocados. These are the foods that my children eat. The same foods you should be eating are the same foods your kids should be eating, and there should be no difference. Look, I think this is part of the problem. For some reason, we think that our children are somehow immune to the junk food that's out there. And I've literally had this conversation with parents when they come into my office and they'll say like, little Timmy's eating Doritos and that's okay for him because he doesn't have diabetes. He doesn't have cholesterol problems. He looks okay in his bathing suit. And that's just crazy. How can we think that it's okay for them to be eating those foods and we don't eat them because we have these diseases, when in fact those foods are going to contribute to little Timmy developing that disease in the first place, right? So they are not immune to these foods, and for some reason we just feel that they can take more of it, and they can't, and it's horrible for them. So we should not be feeding those foods to them. So what are the steps to making a transition? Number one, you've got to make up your mind. And as soon as you make up your mind, you are the leader of your household. You're the CEO. As soon as you decide this is what people are going to be eating, you bring in the food, you put the food in your refrigerator, you put the food in your pantry, you prepare those meals and you put them on the plates. That is what they eat because you said so, because you're the director, the CEO. You have the responsibility of raising these children to be healthy. And so as soon as you make up your mind and you start educating yourself on recipes, you start educating yourself on cooking principles and techniques, then you're going to be able to execute. Number two, the thing that I would recommend is to be gradual. So be firm, like I just talked about. Just with number one, you got to make that decision, but you're going to be firm and then gradually make these changes, right? Don't expect the little Timmy to just start eating healthy right away. What I would recommend that you do is prepare your meals. Yes, you're going to still be feeding the kiddos whatever they normally eat, whatever junk food or unhealthy food that they eat. If say you make baked chicken, some squash and carrots, what I want you to do is cut that food up into tiny little pieces, and you're going to put that on the plate. Put just one piece of chicken. Put one piece of squash or one piece of carrot. It can be intimidating when you put a bunch of this unknown foreign healthy food on their plate. They're not going to want to eat it. But if you just put one little piece on there and you say, hey Timmy, eat this food, and if you want more, I'll give you some more right after. So when you do that, it's going to make it much easier for them to process that they don't have to eat it all. They're just going to eat that little bit. Or you could also serve them their regular unhealthy meal and then put some of the healthy food on the side and say that if they want more, they're going to have to finish that healthy food first. So that would be another recommendation that I'd have for you. Number three, literally let your children decide when they're hungry. And if they're hungry, they're not going to turn food away. If they turn that food away, then one, they're not really hungry. Two, they're probably just addicted to some food that they're craving. Number three, they're just emotional eating or eating out of habit, right? So if they're truly hungry, then have some meals prepared, have some chicken prepared, have some fish prepared, have some veggie sticks in a little baggie, or some nuts and seeds in little baggies, or fruits that are already prepared and cut up in Tupperware. So when they say they're hungry, you can just pull that out and say, here you go. And if they don't eat it, then they're really not that hungry and they don't need to be eating anyway. Number four, look, your children are super smart, they're brilliant, they are sponges for information. And I really do believe that if we just sit down with them and explain to them where our food comes from, how whole food is made, where natural foods come from as opposed to commercial foods. You've seen the videos, you've seen McDonald's where they have this gooey pink sludge that comes out and then they turn that into a chicken McNugget. How healthy could that be? And if you explain to your children that that is cancer causing, it can cause diabetes, it can cause you to have heart disease, it can cause you to have premature death, I don't think they're going to want that. And so if you just start training them and explaining to them in their heads about how it's healthy to eat these foods over here and how these foods over here that taste good because there are chemicals in there that make them think that way, just like drugs, it's not healthy. They're going to understand. And if you just take the time to explain to them, they are smarter than you know, and they will know what is good for them and they'll make the right choice. Finally, I need you to be the model. You've got to be the model. If you start eating healthy, they're going to follow suit. If you start exercising, they're going to follow suit. So you have that responsibility over them, and it's really up to us in order to teach our young what we should be doing. We live in a time now where we really have forgotten our elders. We don't pay attention to the habits and the things that they did. And we just put them in a corner now, which is just crazy. And we need to change that around, and it starts with you, it starts with me, it starts with all of us. Last question comes from Mary, and Mary asks, how much sex is too much sex? Boy, answering this question, I feel like it's going to get me in trouble. One, because I'm a man talking about sex. Number two, because I like sex. That said, I'm going to say this first. There is certainly too much of a good thing. And just like alcohol, it's all good in moderation. The same is true with sex. Here's an important question that I'd like to ask. How many drinks does it take for you to become an alcoholic? It depends, right? Everybody's a little bit different. So how many times do you have to have sex before we say it's too much? It really just depends. So asking how much sex is too much sex is like asking how many drinks is too many drinks for a particular individual. What this approach fails to realize is that it's not about how many drinks that you're taking in, it's about how those drinks affect your quality of life and the decision-making process in your everyday life. right? So if you're somebody who's drinking every single day and it starts to affect your quality of life or the decisions that are very important in your life towards creating destruction, I feel the same is true with sex. That if you start making decisions around those sexual acts, or you start making decisions around your sexual experiences, and it starts to affect your quality of life in such a way that it's destructive, then we've got a problem. Medically speaking, there really is no such thing as too much sex. I mean, as animals, we were designed to procreate. That is literally, at the end of the day, one of the core basic functions of our bodies is to procreate and create new babies, right? And so there's no such thing as too much sex, but you obviously need to be paying attention to your body and listening to it. If you're sore, if you're tired, if you've had a long day and you don't want to have sex, don't do it, right? Just pay attention. That said, if you're on the other end of the field and your partner is sore and tired and doesn't want to do it, but you're ready to go, you've got to respect that. And that's part of having a healthy relationship. So number one, it's got to be consensual. Number two, if it's not affecting your quality of life or it's not affecting the decisions around your quality of life, then I think it's okay. And then number three, practice safe sex. All right, that does it for episode number 2. I hope you all found this information valuable. Again, keep the questions coming. I'm getting tons of questions coming in, and I'm going to be making these videos as fast as I can. I want you to subscribe, so make sure that you subscribe so that way we can keep this channel going and growing, and I look forward to answering as many of your questions as I can. Find me on Facebook at /Dr. Daniel DC. You can also follow me on Instagram at Dr. Daniel DC. You can ask your questions on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Use the hashtag AskDrDanielDC. You can also snap me, right? I'm on Snapchat, so go and find me, Dr. Daniel DC. I hope you found this information valuable. We'll see you at the next episode.